Hey there, guys. All right, today we are back with some more history matters, and this time we are wondering, how did medieval banking work? So I've got no idea. I have really my only exposure to to how medieval banking may have worked would have been from the Medici series on Netflix, which that show took a lot of creative liberties with history. I still found the show to be overall very uh, enjoyable. Um, Not all that historically accurate, which is fine. I just want to have fun with my TV shows. Um, Even if set in a historical period or with real historical people. Let me just have fun. Right? But and even in the books that I've read that have talked briefly about medieval banking, right? Like I remember reading some book on Edward the First, um, that English monarch, Edward Longshanks. And he did some things where he banned the Jews from England and took their money, took their banks away from them or whatever, because Jews were able to um, uh, loan out money and like make a profit, whereas Catholic Christians couldn't do that at the time for whatever reason. Whatever usury was, I guess, not allowed. Whatever the term is, but and those books never really explained how medieval banking really worked. So let let's find out, I guess.
In the modern world, you can enter a bank, deposit money, travel halfway across the planet, and retrieve that money no issues. But could you do this in the past? And with that, how did
Actually, hold on. I think you could. Kind of. You were given like a note, and it had to be to the same. Like they had to have deals with each other.
banks work back then? Now, banking hasn't changed all too much throughout European history, and as such, we're going to focus on the late medieval, early Renaissance period for two main reasons. One, Renaissance banks operated across borders in different states with different laws, and two, the Catholic Church expressly forbid the act of charging interest on loans, a practice known as usury, which is what we'll begin with. So, since a banker couldn't charge interest on a loan, how did they make profit and why bother loaning money out at all? Well, banking families like the Medicis weren't fools, and they managed to get around interest in two ways. The first was via late payment fines. Whilst
Ah.
you couldn't charge interest at, say, 10%, you could fine someone 10% of the total of the loan if they were late in their payments. If you were to, say, pay back a loan on time, you'd get no fines, but in return, you'd likely be blacklisted by every banking family in existence. And so, if you ever wanted another loan again, you'd need to pay it back late. The second
Oh, that's fucked up.
way they got around interest was via currency conversion. You'd get out a loan which would be provided in one currency, and you'd then pay it back in a different currency at a different time and thus at a different exchange rate. The bank would then pocket the difference. The exception to these rules were kings and the Pope, who just got the loan for free because please don't kill or excommunicate me. Now, as the process of taking out a loan suggests, you'd be taking out and paying back money in different places, meaning that these banks had multiple branches as the Medicis did. So how did these banks confirm details and prevent fraud between the different branches? Why couldn't someone simply forge a note saying that they have an account and then run off with the money? Well, there were several checks and steps to verify information. As many of you will know, banks at this time were run by families, and members of these families would be sent to the bank's branches to run them. These branch managers would know each other quite well and importantly know each other's handwriting well
This is my handwriting, signed Francesca.
too. The bank would then use their own trusted messengers who would travel as fast as they could to the numerous branches to update them on account information. Thus, it was possible for a person to deposit money in, say, Florence and withdraw it in Paris, for a fee that is. Now, all of this was very profitable, but this didn't stop most banks from going bust very quickly, and this was mostly down to warfare. Kings needed money for wars, and having a branch in a kingdom meant that you were obligated to lend money to the king if they needed it. And this led to kings taking advantage of banks. Since they had near absolute authority, they could and did simply refuse to pay the loan back. In
Hmm.
fact, kings were often pressured by their own merchants and lords to do so, since this would then force a bank to default and close, meaning that it couldn't collect payments from anyone else. And so, that's an extremely simplified way of how medieval banking worked. Despite the lack of modern technology or the ability to charge interest, banks were extremely profitable. However, it was an extremely risky business too, and families were often taken down by kings as quickly as they rose up. I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Okay. This was how medieval banking worked, and you can definitely tell that this is probably one of this is among probably the older History Matters videos. Still, it's decent. Definitely not one of my favorites. I definitely think they could have done a bit more here. Like it definitely felt like it was lacking a little bit, especially towards the end. I felt like there was a bit, maybe a bit more to say that they just didn't say because they were like, I guess maybe running out of time or something. Um, Overall, it's good. But really, nothing more to say to that. Kind of, damn, the kings are bitches, aren't they? I hope you guys enjoyed as well. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.